Hello and welcome to Raise Your Vibes. This is your host, Miriam Khan, and with me today I have a really interesting guest with me called Islam Kafi. Islam, would you like to say hello to everybody?
Hello, everybody.
Listen to that beautiful voice, rather mysterious too. So Islam, I met you briefly, and I mean briefly, at a recent event that both of us obviously attended in collaboration to the joint book that yourself and I and, various other authors have written a book called She's Remarkable. And obviously I've asked you to come and join me today so that you could talk about your specific chapter. So would you like to just give a little bit of background about yourself, who you are, what you do, just so that our, audience can get a bit of understanding of your background?
Sure. Well, thank you so much for that very warm introduction. I've never been described as being both interesting and mysterious in the same sentence, so I think that's kind of cool for me. So I'm Islam Kafi. I am an academic life coach, and you've heard of life coaching.
Yes.
It's pretty much the same principle. Coaching is coaching everywhere, except I coach through the lens of the academic experience. So whether you're an educator, a teacher, or a professor who wants to employ coaching skills, or whether you are a student who wants to gain coaching skills to take with you, along your next journey outside of the classroom, that's what I do. That's what I've been doing since 2016, Miriam,
Wow.
Trying to raise awareness about the importance of getting coaching in academic settings in our part of the world, which is
Very tough.
the Middle East, North Africa region.
Yeah, it can be a very tough field to get into, and I mean, as I was explaining to you, I am a teacher myself. I've got teaching background. Still, I'm teaching like you, also a life coach, also do motivational speak, many other hats, not just the one thing. And I think we haven't really realized that we need academic teaching. We've probably been doing the coaching side of it, but not really giving it a title. So how did you get into that from what you were doing before?
That is a wonderful question. So I was working as a fifth grade teacher at the American school here in Jeddah, and it was a great experience, and I loved my job. And I had a wonderful group of kids year after year. I loved, fifth grade is that age where, they're not quite kids and they're not quite adults, but they're forming into who they're going to be for the rest of their lives. And it's wonderful. But I noticed that when these kids left elementary school and transitioned onto middle school, there was a huge gap in and I'm not just talking about their grades, because these kids were high performers. They were always academically very successful, but something would happen in that transition that would just create this drop in their performance and their general well-being overall. And I was very curious about why that was happening. And of course, it had to do with what people like to refer to as soft skills. And I hate that term because they're not soft. These are the skills that I like to use the term human skills. So if it's okay, can I use that term to refer to what people like to call soft skills? I found that our kids were lacking in that area. They just didn't have the coping mechanisms. They didn't know how to advocate for themselves and ask for help. And it didn't matter how strong they were academically. They just didn't know how to cope with change.
Yeah.
And they didn't have the support, or they had the support, they just didn't know it was there. They didn't know what their resources were. So even being able to identify a resource is a skill. And then I learned about coaching, and then I learned about a specific niche of coaching called academic life coaching. And I decided, you know what? I think I found my calling. This is what I'm going to do. Everyone thought it was crazy. I was a team lead. I was a very well-liked teacher at the school, and I loved my job, so no one saw this coming.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I think I have something else I need to do.
I feel you. I've been getting that calling for many, many years. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been doing that. I've been working with kids, and not just kids. I've been working with university students. And what I love the most about what we do as coaches and educators is that coaching is not an intervention.
No.
So you're not dealing with something broken that needs to be fixed.
No.
You're dealing with, I am a very capable and resourceful individual, and I'm doing well, and I want to do better. And this kind of mindset actually makes my life really, really positive all the time, because I'm not a problem solver in this scenario. I'm not a fix-it person. I'm a thinking partner. I'm an accountability partner, and it's just this air of empowerment. You know, we are, as coaches, we're in the business of empowerment, and I think our younger demographic could really use that.
They can indeed. I mean, I don't know about you. I personally have worked in very, very challenging schools in the UK. I also, like you, have got lots of experience, 20 plus years, but in the UK it was 15 plus years. And I'd worked in banking, I'd done other jobs too. But when I worked with the kids that we call council estate kids, they were very, very hard work, but rewarding at the same time. So I totally can relate to what you're saying to me, because kids, you can be academic or weak. You've got both spectrums or in the middle. But at the same time, you haven't got the emotion resilience. You haven't got parental support. You've got family trauma. I'm also a counsellor, as well as special needs background as well. And so I've dealt with, like, you name it, I've dealt with it, right? So I get what you're saying, because people don't realize that with teaching, you're not just teaching your subject. There is so many aspects to what you're doing that it takes up a lot of your time. So it's beautiful to see that you've taken this one niche and blossomed it into something really nice. And I want to, after this podcast, connect with you, because I think there's something I can really learn from you, hopefully, you know?
Well, I'm hoping, I would love the opportunity to collaborate, because, as I said, trying to get the word out there about the importance of coaching and education has been a struggle. The idea is very new in this part of the world. And so that, as daunting as it sounds, it's actually very exciting, because we're at the forefront of change. And that's hopefully a change that's going to be welcomed when we have people like you and other people who are like-minded, just setting the tone of what the academic experience can actually look like for people.
I think some people are so enclosed in a bubble that they're afraid to step out of it. I was in a senior leadership position, and I was the first Muslim, and I was also the first female to be in those positions of where I was. So as an English teacher, as a special educational needs teacher, as a senior leadership teacher, you can imagine how hard that was in the UK to get to. And then for me to go, oh, I'm going to just go traveling around the world and leave this, and like you, people are like, what? And then somehow still end up back in teaching, You know, you try to leave.
That's funny, because my kids make fun of me all the time, because right now I do a lot of coach training. I have an ICF certified program that teaches people to do exactly what I'm doing. And my kids make fun of me. They're like, okay, because I have 2 teenagers, right? And they're like, let me get this straight. So you quit teaching to teach? I'm just like, just stop. Okay, just stop.
It's all right. They're just holding you accountable, aren't they?
No, because it's like, joke's on you. You're actually the inspiration behind what I do. So there you have it.
So coming to the journey that we are currently on now, obviously both of us have had different experiences on how we got into the book that's out there now called She's Remarkable. And I will add, Islam's details, that if you want to get in touch with her and connect with her, I will put that in our bio for our podcast, but also for the book too. Now, I have my own experience of how I connected with the book. What was yours? How did you write before? Was this your first time? How did you connect to She's Remarkable?
Okay, well, it was such a unique opportunity for me because I have written, but I've never been a published author. I mean, I've written blogs, I've written, things like that.
Yeah.
But for someone to approach you and say, hey, I think you have a story that may inspire others. Do you feel like sharing it? It's kind of hard to say no.
Correct.
Right? Because you also have to, there's a bit of a struggle there first with your inner critic. Like me, I'm interesting and mysterious, Miriam Khan. What do you mean? So you're always, you have that piece in you. But then when you get over yourself and you sit down and you write with the intent and the purpose of hopefully inspiring someone to maybe read your story and realize that they could do this too. It just makes it more meaningful. And I'm big on authenticity and things being meaningful. So this is my first opportunity being able to put to paper something that I find to be very personal and important.
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
No. When I read your chapter, obviously prior to the podcast, I was like, what a beautiful, and I don't want to do spoilers, because obviously the whole point is that people go out and, obviously read out our joint collaborative book, but it did bring a tear to my eye. And let me tell you something, Islam, I'm not a crier. I am not a crier. I don't do tears. Very rarely, okay? Yours did. It was very sentimental. And, I'll allow you to explain why that is, because I don't want to do the spoilers.
Well, thank you for connecting with me through my writing.
You're welcome.
You're making me a little bit emotional right now, but
tissues at the ready, people. Tissues at the ready.
Right? I know. I think that writing this gave me the opportunity to really understand why I do what I do.
Yeah.
The why behind who I am today. I feel like a lot of us as adults, we kind of grow into the adults that we needed growing up.
Yes.
And that, I don't know how much of the chapter I could disclose on your podcast. I'm not sure what the rules are here.
It's up to you, as long as you don't do spoilers, because we want them to purchase it, obviously.
Okay.
You go ahead.
So all I'm going to say is I at a recent speaking engagement, about academic coaching, actually. I was speaking to a room, a virtual and, an actual room filled with coaches from all over the Arab world. And I was introducing the concept of academic coaching to them. And a lot of them have actually never heard of it. And it was kind of a neat experience. And then I posed the question, how would your life be any different if you had an academic coach growing up? Or where would you have landed? Or, and the question was reflective, obviously, and it triggered a lot of emotion in the room. So I was forced to ask myself the same question. And that's how the chapter came about.
Wow.
Because when I asked myself that same question, I was just like, okay, I get it now. And actually, that's the title of my chapter. It's I get it now. I know why I'm here. I know what I'm doing. And it feels good. And I want people to get it now before they, everyone gets it in their due time. But I've had so many different experiences that led up to this opportunity. And I feel like if I had, certain guidance, I might have been able to streamline, my itinerary a little bit and skip a few stops along the way. But I guess, they happen for a reason and they were important. So I'm not discounting it. I'm just saying and that it would have been nice to get it earlier as opposed to I'm in my mid 40s, as opposed to getting it now,
It's all still a learning curve, isn't it? And it's all a learning process. And I'm one of these people, I don't know about you, I'm a very spiritual person. I'm into Reiki as well. So I'm very much into alignment with things that happen in the universe. People think that part of me is bonkers. But I do believe, things happen for a reason. Sometimes the lessons, not everything is a straight line. Sometimes someone up there is wanting us to go roundabout things because there's different things we're meant to learn, or we're meant to learn from others, or there's a journey of ourselves we're meant to discover. And I think that's what's happened to you. I don't look at it that way.
Right. No, I obviously, I'm very thankful for this. I just wish I started earlier. You know, I'm not going to, like, I'm big on authenticity. So I'm going to be super honest right now and share with you that my only regret is not having the opportunity to have had this learning about myself, to have had this exploration. And I would have loved to start this journey earlier, but that's it. That's all it is. The good, the bad, the ugly, I'm really okay with that.
You see, I also call it the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful.
Yeah.
Because life can be beautiful. If we focus just on the ugly, we're being pessimistic. That's just me and my outlook. Remember the beautiful and look at the beautiful imprints you're making, because whether it's teaching or coaching, wherever it is, you're planting seeds and you're supporting growth. And at times we pluck the weeds out. We pluck it out, we replant, we rebirth. And that's what you're doing with the people. Same. We're doing the same thing with the people we're connected to, and we're helping them to grow. So, okay, we didn't get some of this. We didn't start way back, but let's put that passion into what we're doing now. So that the
we're
others
here now.
Which is what you're doing. And I think it's a beautiful.
And without that ugly you mentioned, I wouldn't be able to recognize the beautiful.
Correct.
So here I am trying to make up for lost time, and platforms like your podcast, you know, is really helpful for me to get the message out, because I strongly believe that we need to have coaching in all of our academic settings, not just in universities and colleges, but also in high schools. It's this, and you know, it's funny because we talked about how people think you're quote unquote bonkers. when I resigned from my position, and I was just like, no, I'm going to focus on this. And people were like, are you serious? Like, this is what you want to do? And I'm like, this is what I want to do. And then the pandemic hit shortly after that. And they came to the same people who were the biggest skeptics were like, you know what? You're right. These are important skills to have. This skill of being able to pivot or to roll with the punches. These are teachable skills. That's the beauty of it. People need to understand. It's not that you're just like born this way.
No.
I mean, they are teachable.
People are in fear. That's one thing I realized many years ago. And when I did leave my particular senior leadership job, as I said to you, I was bold and brave, and I had made that decision. I was not going to go back to England. It's been nearly 8 years now. My friends, beautiful friends, said 6 months you'll be back. I'm like, no. I gave away every possession you can think of. Nothing was in storage. Nothing. And I mean brand new television. I gave it to a friend that needed it. Brand new vacuum cleaner. It sounds silly, Dyson. I'd spent a lot of money saving for that item to give it away. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah. But I had to let go. I had to learn to let go to be free. And then off I went traveling and ended up staying in Egypt, ironically. And, you know, I'm not going to take over your podcast. But what I'm saying is, if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't be doing the things that I was doing now. And everybody was like, no, you're crazy. You'll be back. I haven't been back. And the same people like you were like, oh, my God, you're off traveling here. You're off doing this and you're off And it's like, yeah. And the same people were like, well, can I come and stay? No. Because you didn't believe in me in the first place. So it is interesting how the naysayers sort of become your, wow, you've done that. What's you up to next? And it's not about trying to tick off a box. I'm just living my best life as you are yours. And you are taking those opportunities instead of leading with fear. You're leading with light and you're leading with love. And I think that's a beautiful.
Thank you.
That's a
you just gave me like a whole lot of goosebumps here. I mean, like, thank you for that. I needed those vibes because it could be pretty lonely. I mean, when you're out there trying to communicate a message that you're very passionate about and trying to get people on board with you, it can be very isolating. I mean, we talk about growth mindset as teachers and as coaches, I'm living it. I hear no a lot, and I'm really okay with it because it doesn't discourage me anymore. That no is just an opportunity for me to look at what's missing. What do I need to help people really understand?
Remember what no means, though. Doesn't just mean no. Remember what no means. Next opportunity.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I like it. Yeah. I like it. Okay.
So if people,
I am raising my vibes with this podcast.
I told you.
There you go.
I told you. So if people obviously, wanted to, get in touch with you, perhaps and I'm going to be doing this myself. I can feel it already. If they wanted to get in touch with you, maybe they wanted to book a coaching session, maybe they wanted to get in touch with you for mentoring or, just learn a little bit more about you. Perhaps there's a school internationally that is wanting to connect, because remember, this podcast is international. So how do they do that? How can they get in touch with you? What can you offer at the moment, and what are your plans for the future?
So at the moment, what I'm offering is I'm offering coach training. As I mentioned, it is an ICF. For your listeners that aren't aware, the ICF is the International Coaching Federation, and that's like the gold standard, seal of approval on anything and everything coaching. Yeah. They are the entity that I want to say regulates coaching worldwide. I mean, there's another one. There's a European body as well, but the ICF is the biggest name, and they are they're the ones who are making sure that things like ethics are in place, as certain level of standards and best practices, etc. So they've managed to do a really good job of maintaining coaching as a profession. Because again, coaching is very new. Coaching hasn't really been around formally for over, I think it's only been about 20 years. So my program is ICF Accredited, which means you will be receiving a very high standard of coach training. And I train, actually, I started out by training people in educational spaces, so university professors and teachers and administrators who wanted to gain coaching skills and employ them in their schools, which I thought was pretty great. Then the program evolved to something really amazing. And I'm so glad I get to talk to you about this, because you're going to get this and you're going to be really excited as well.
Awesome.
My program now, if you're attending my course as an educator, you will be not just attending it with other educators like you, but you will be attending it with student leaders as well.
Nice.
So not only are we having, academic professionals taking this course, but we're having high school seniors, we're having university students,
beautiful,
and they're all in the same learning space. And that dynamic is unbelievable. Watching how they're learning alongside each other and from each other is such a rewarding experience in itself. So this is, and so for the students who are taking this program, they're taking it because they will become ICF credentialed coaches as well. And they will take their coaching skills to whatever career or path they choose. So they don't have to be focused on becoming something in the academic world. Mm-hmm. So I think it's such a rewarding experience for me as a trainer. And that's currently what I offer. I do one-on-one coaching sessions as well, of course.
Awesome.
But I feel like right now I'm trying to get more people out there like me. Okay. I'm trying to get more people out there who are, who have the skills to be able to coach this demographic.
Yeah. Well, hopefully when, this podcast is out there, people will get in touch with you and people will, be interested and want to connect. And hopefully you will find like-minded souls so that you can raise that message and get it out there, because it does need to be out there, and that's one of the beautiful things about doing what you're doing is even at this part of the world, you're networking all the time. And that's one of the things that was really beautiful about this book, is connecting with people that ironically you need, so there's that connection there. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And people always talk about finding your tribe.
Yes.
I found my tribe. I mean, we're all one tribe.
Yes.
And being able to, spread this message or train people with the skills to be able to service the tribe is, to me, more of that feeling of connection that I was craving than that feeling of isolation that I had in the beginning.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about this, and I'm sure you can tell because it's very rare to get the opportunity to be able to talk about this with someone who really understands. So thank you for being that
You're
person.
very welcome. And like I said to you, sometimes God connects you with the dots with the people that you need at the right time. Because ironically, I was looking for something like this, and then here you are.
Well, there you go.
Versa.
Come on.
So
come on over, Miriam.
I will be over. I will be over. Don't you worry. So just as we're finishing, Islam, is there anything you want to say as a final, thought? Is there anything you wish to say in regards to the book or your coaching, or as we finish?
Actually, I want to thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I want to thank you because I had the opportunity to listen to other episodes of your podcast, and the different areas of expertise that your guests bring to the table, even though they are they differ from one another, but somehow you made them all the same. You made them, their messages. For example, you had a guest who's an athlete, for example. I am in no means an athlete, okay? But I was able to connect with somebody that I most likely, on paper, won't have much in common with. But your podcast is a reminder that we are all in this together.
Yeah.
We're all learning from each other. And it's just so people like you are why we do what we do, because we all want to be that person. So thank you, Miriam, for everything you're doing.
You're welcome. Thank you. For me, like you, it was something I was testing and trying. And then next thing, just after 2 episodes, I think, I was on iTunes for my podcast. And I was like, this is so hard to get in. I'm doing the right thing because it's flowing and flowing.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, I was on 20 channels internationally like that. And I had
That's
to even
amazing.
and I was like, because I was at that pivotal point of, I want to leave teaching again. And God kept sucking me back in. But I know why, because my special needs kids needed me. My mental health students needed me. My staff needed me. There was different things, but also I actually pushed myself to write. And I got myself published during COVID. It all kicked off during my divorce. During my divorce, I started to write. I started to do the podcast. I taught myself. I was in an area where I was in a lockdown. So when I say lockdown, everyone internationally would not know what that meant. For us in Kuwait, in my area, it was a military lockdown. For 5.5 months, I could not go out of my street, as in area. I couldn't leave it. We were in military lockdown. And that was because, unfortunately, one building had over 600 people with COVID. So they put everyone at risk, and it spread quickly. So bless the government here. They were trying everything they could to stop it from spreading. I was so impressed with everything they did. But at that same time, whilst I was still teaching, by the way, because school was online, I was watching my kids do all these different things, and I'd been wanting to do it, but just not sat still. I'm always on the go. So I was not sat still. This was the time where I was forced to sit still and forced to learn how to edit, I learned how to do YouTube editing. And I was like, oh my God, this is so hard. But I did it. And now it's easy. But I was like, oh, I can do that, And the podcasting, it just grew. And the writing grew. And I was like, wow, this is, when I'm forced in a corner.
But Miriam, you're talking to me about learning how to edit a podcast. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's fine and dandy and amazing, right, for you. Yeah. But I'm more excited about the other learning that took place. Yeah. You learned is that you can do anything. And that to me is what fuels me. Like, this is what excites me the most. Like, you literally reinvented yourself during the lockdown, which again, it's not just about learning a technical skill.
So
you are just fun to talk to.
That's good. During that time of COVID, I had also people getting in touch with me. Obviously, they knew that I was a counsellor, mental health stuff as well. And that's when I was looking at the coaching side of things, which you can obviously relate to. But I had people also going through divorce or separation, and ended up, as I said to Claire, who interviewed me, I ended up unwittingly becoming, and I laugh, becoming the divorce coach. I was like, wow, okay, this is another string to my bow. And I did a lot of that work for free, Islam, because of course I want to build my business. Of course I want to be able to fund myself financially and leave the teaching. But it wasn't ethical at that time to do that to these particular ladies when you know yourself, coming from a Muslim background, trying to divorce and do a process called hulla, which not everybody understands, but it means the woman basically applying for divorce. And
you surrender all of your rights.
Yeah. And not just the surrendering, but you're the one who's financially, I was never reliant on my ex-husband. I was financially doing everything. It was all on me. That wasn't the thing. It was the fact that it was made very, very difficult because of the country and the rules. And even in 2023, 2022, when the law in that country was changing and your father and your brother has to come over to the country to give you permission to divorce, that law was coming in. And I was in my 40s and that was not going to happen. This was also during COVID. They refused. I don't have a great relationship with my father. Okay, this is why when I read your book, it brought big tears to me, because I felt you. I really felt you, because there's things you wish you had, but you haven't. But that also doesn't make me not empathize at the same time, you know? But you end up coaching in different ways because of that.
But that's the thing with empathy. Yeah. It's a gift, but it's an expensive gift, because for you to be able to connect with me empathetically, you had to connect to something that is uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
You had to go places that maybe you put aside, and that mental back burner that we all have, just like, okay, I don't want to think about this right now because I don't like how it makes me feel.
Yeah.
But when I thanked you for connecting with me earlier, I meant it, because I know for you to say it made me emotional, it means you really connected. And my intuition told me, okay, she had to go somewhere to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I just want to acknowledge that you're raising vibes for people through not just strength, but through vulnerability.
Sure, I didn't look at it like that.
No, hey, we're coaches. We could do this all day, you and I. Right? We're all about the perspective switch, right?
We are.
Yeah, but I'm just so inspired by you.
Thank you. And ditto, vice versa. The same.
Thank you.
The same. And, you know, I think it's a beautiful connection when you meet people like that and they push and support you and raise your vibes in you know, whichever way you want to look at it. And for those people that are listening, Islam certainly does that in her chapter. Certainly does that in the chapter. I will put the details of the book in the bio. And obviously, I'm just getting back to your page number. Her particular chapter is on page 88. So, Islam, it has been an honor, an absolute honor. And what a beautiful, natural conversation we've had, you know, with two kindred spirits. I can't thank you enough.
This was a coffee with friends. I mean, and your listeners are going to get to overhear that. And it's nice, because I feel like everybody who gathers at your table is a friend. Yeah. So thank you for including me at that table. Welcome. And I hope we get opportunities to collaborate together in the future. I would welcome that.
God willing, inshallah. Thank you very much, Islam, for being on Raise Your Vibes. This has been Miriam Khan and Islam Kafi on Raise Your Vibes, talking about the book, She's Remarkable, out now.